There's something ancient that can quiet your mind faster than any modern hack, and it's hidden in Zen stories. In the next hour, you won't get vague advice or surface-level motivation. You'll hear timeless Zen parables and deep Buddhist teachings that I carefully choose and crafted to melt mental tension, silence inner noise, and bring you into real, lasting relaxation. If your mind's been racing, if sleep feels far away, or peace seems like a myth, this is exactly where you need to be. So, before we begin, take a moment to like the video, but only if this space brings you calm. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you. I love seeing where this moment of stillness finds people all over the world. Now, dim the lights, lie down in the most comfortable position your body knows. Let your breath start to slow, and gently, let's step through the gate of stillness together. Chapter 1. The Door to Stillness. It begins with a breath, not the breath of the world, or of time, or of the winds that shape the mountains, but your breath, the one you're taking right now. Let it move gently in, and even more slowly out. That's it. There is nothing to force, nothing to fix, nothing to chase. You are already doing everything right. The world outside this moment may still be spinning full of motion, noise and thought, but here, in this small space between inhale and exhale, there is nothing but presence. You've stepped into the doorway now, the doorway of stillness. Not because you've earned it, not because you've mastered anything, but because it was always open to you. It was always here. All those thoughts you had today, let them pass like birds across a sky that doesn't cling to anything. All the noise, the effort, the expectations, let them melt like snow resting in the warmth of sunlight. You are not your tasks. You are not your history. You are not even your mind. You are something simpler, quieter, softer. A quiet witness, floating gently through the space of now. And now, as your breath deepens, notice the stillness beginning to wrap around you, not as something to grab, but as something you're remembering. Stillness doesn't arrive like a flash of lightning. It returns like an old friend who never left. If you just forgot how close they were, let your body relax. Let your hands fall heavy. Let your jaw loosen, your shoulders sink, and your chest expand gently, as if it too is remembering how to be free. You are not preparing for anything. You are not climbing towards some better version of yourself. You are simply resting in truth, the truth that nothing more is needed. And if a thought rises, bless it, then let it drift. No need to wrestle it, no need to push it away. Just return, ever so gently, to the space between thoughts. This is what the old Zen masters knew, that behind every word is silence. Behind every movement is stillness, and behind every striving mind is a peaceful one that was never lost, only hidden. Tonight, we will walk the quiet path, a path of stories, lessons, parables, not to fill your mind, but to empty it, to offer you something far more valuable than information, inner rest. So, let's take another breath, in, softly, out, even softer. And now, gently, the door opens wider. Let's walk through. Chapter 2, Story 1, The Sound of One Hand Clapping. What is the sound of one hand clapping? The question is simple, but the silence it creates is anything but. Long ago, in Japan, under a soft grey sky, a young Zen student sat across from his master. He had journeyed far to study in the monastery, away from the noise of his village, away from his family's expectations, and, most of all, away from the thoughts that never stopped chasing each other inside his head. He believed the master would give him answers. That peace would come wrapped in words, clear, neat, understandable. But Zen does not work like that. The master looked at the young student with calm eyes and asked only one thing: what is the sound of one hand clapping? The student blinked. He waited. Surely, the master would say more. Surely there was a trick, or a clue, or an explanation. But there was only silence. Not the awkward kind, the ancient kind, the kind of silence that doesn't need to be filled. The student went away and thought. He thought for days. He tried to be clever. He tried to be right. At first, he imagined the sound. A wave, maybe, the rustle of wind, his own heartbeat in a quiet room. He returned and gave his answers. The master said nothing. He tried again, and again, and again. Weeks passed. The more he tried to solve the riddle, the farther peace seemed to drift, until one night, when the moon was especially full, and the temple lanterns flickered like breath in the dark, the student sat quietly in the garden, listening to crickets, when a thought came, not as a sentence, but as a silence. There is no answer, and more than that, there doesn't need to be. He let go of trying, of proving, of needing things to make sense. He walked to his teacher's room in silence, bowed deeply, and said nothing. The master smiled. The lesson was complete. What is the sound of one hand clapping? You could say it's the question that ends all questions. You could say it's the sound of the mind becoming still. You could say it's the moment when your thoughts fall away like autumn leaves. Not because they were pushed, but because they were no longer held. You see, some teachings were never meant to be understood. They were meant to dissolve understanding itself. Because peace doesn't live in answers. It lives in the space that comes after the questions fade. So, let your own mind rest now. Let your need to get it melt into the quiet between words. There is nothing to solve. There is only this breath, and this moment, somewhere within you, a question still lingers. Let it. Because in the silence of not knowing, you become free. Now, take one more breath in and let it go, like a paper lantern rising into the night sky. We'll continue soon, but for now, just listen to the stillness that remains. Chapter 3. Reflection. What silence teaches. Silence is not empty. It is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. Beneath every sound you've ever heard, beneath every word you've ever spoken, beneath the endless stream of thought and sensation, there is silence. It has always been there. Quiet, patient, watching. You don't create silence. You return to it. And in this returning, something soft begins to open inside you. A space, a breath, a still lake untouched by wind. In Zen, the masters teach with few words, or none at all. They knew what many have forgotten, that silence is not just a pause between moments. It is the truth beneath all moments. The student seeks wisdom in phrases, in formulas, in philosophies, but the master points to the quiet place where words fall away. And in that space, awakening begins. So now, gently, feel that silence forming around you, not as a void, but as a presence. You are not alone in the quiet. You are held by it. Feel the bed beneath you. Feel the air brushing your skin. Feel the weight of your body surrendering to rest. And listen, not to music, not to narration, but to the silence within the sound, because even here, as words guide you, there is a deeper rhythm between them. A rhythm of stillness, a rhythm of peace. There is a Zen saying, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. What if your mind wasn't a problem to solve, but a garden to sit in quietly? What if the racing thoughts were just clouds, passing through a sky that never changes? What if peace wasn't something you had to earn, but something you remembered? You don't need to banish thoughts. You don't need to force yourself into silence. Just become the space that thoughts pass through. Let them come, let them go, like ripples on water. The more you try to silence the mind, the more noise you create. But if you simply watch, the noise begins to quiet itself. In this very moment, notice the weight in your chest soften. Notice your eyes relax. Notice your thoughts growing fainter, lighter, softer. There is nothing to fix. There is nothing to figure out. There is only the breath, only the stillness, and only you. as you are now, held, whole, home. Let this silence stay with you. Even as the next story begins, let it be a companion, not a stranger. Let it walk beside you through this night, because, in silence, you are not empty, you are complete. Chapter 4, Story 2, The Empty Teacup. You cannot pour tea into a cup that is already full, and you cannot receive wisdom if your mind is overflowing with what you think you already know. Long ago, in a quiet village nestled between two mist-covered mountains, there lived a scholar who was known far and wide for his intellect. He had read thousands of books, studied under many teachers, and collected knowledge, like others collect coins or fine silk. His head was heavy with facts, and still he was restless. So he travelled up the winding path to visit a Zen master in a secluded temple, one said to possess rare wisdom, not from books, but from silence. The scholar arrived full of questions. He bowed politely, but spoke with pride. He told the master all the things he had learned, the philosophies he had explored, the spiritual practices he had already mastered. The Zen master listened quietly. He nodded, and without a word, began to pour tea. The cup filled, and then overflowed. Tea spilled across the table, onto the floor. Still the master poured, the hot liquid soaking the scholar's robes. "Stop!" the scholar cried. "The cup is full. No more will go in." The master set the teapot down, and with a calm gaze said, "Exactly. Like this cup, your mind is too full. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" That was the entire lesson, and it echoed louder than any lecture ever could. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Maybe it's a belief, an assumption, a fear disguised as certainty. Maybe it's a voice in your mind that says, "I already know," when the heart whispers, "But I've never truly listened." Letting go isn't about forgetting what you've learned. It's about loosening the grip on what you think is final. In Zen, we are all beginners. Always. Even the master bows to the morning sky, as if seeing it for the very first time. So now, as you lie here, gently let your own cup begin to empty, not through effort, not through force, but through stillness. Let go of the need to get this. Let go of the voice that analyzes and compares. Let go of the search for meaning and the hunger for conclusions. Just feel the weight of your thoughts pouring out like warm tea spilling over the edge of the mind. Feel the tension leaving your forehead. Feel the breath softening in your chest. Feel the body melting deeper into the bed. You are not here to perform. You are not here to prove. You are not here to impress your own mind. You are here to rest, to receive, to remember how light you feel when you let go. And so, as the last drops spill and your cup returns to emptiness, you may finally begin to feel something that was always there beneath it all. Peace, stillness, and the quiet joy of not knowing. Because only when the cup is empty can it be filled with truth. Chapter 5, Reflection, Ego, Humility, and the Beginner's Mind. There is nothing heavier than the ego, and nothing lighter than the moment you let it go. The ego doesn't scream, it whispers. It hides in good intentions. It dresses itself as knowing. It tells you that growth must look a certain way. That peace is a prize to be earned. That wisdom is a ladder to climb with you at the top. But Zen does not climb. It bows. It kneels. It listens to the sound of wind on wood, to the stillness between raindrops, to the breath that rises without being asked. The master in the tea story didn't reject the scholar. He simply showed him what was true, that a full mind has no room to receive. This is not just a lesson in knowledge, it is a lesson in ego. The ego seeks to be right. The beginner's mind seeks to understand. The ego wants to appear wise. The beginner's mind wants to experience truth. The ego is tense, like a clenched fist. The beginner's mind is soft, like open hands resting in the lap of the present moment. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. It is not self-hatred. It is self-emptiness, the kind that makes room for light to pour in, the kind that makes room for the universe to speak, not through thunder, but through silence. You may ask, if I let go of who I think I am, what remains? The answer is simple: peace, presence, and a kind of effortless joy that doesn't need to be understood to be real. You've been taught to build a self, to define yourself, to shape yourself into something admirable. But the greatest freedom does not come from constructing identity. It comes from relaxing it, releasing it, letting yourself be just a leaf floating down the stream. No name, no goal, just the moment. The ego fears this. It fears becoming small. But the truth is, you are not small. You are vast. Too vast to be contained in a name, a thought, a memory, a role. When you stop trying to be someone, you remember that you are everything. So now, as your body lies still, as your breath drapes itself gently across your chest like silk, let the ego take a step back. Just for a moment. You don't need to be smart here. You don't need to be healed. You don't need to be anything. You are not a student trying to learn. You are a beginner, discovering again what it means to be alive, without armor. Every breath is a new moment. Every silence is a doorway. Let yourself walk barefoot into this space, with no expectation, no burden, no past. The Japanese call this shoshin, beginner's mind. It is the state of being completely open, completely curious, completely present. It is the child looking at the sky for the first time. It is the master returning to the basics every morning, bowing not out of ritual, but out of reverence. So, bow now, internally, gently, to this moment. It is your teacher, and you are enough, just as you are, to receive its gift. No effort, no image, no ego, just stillness, and the mind, finally, is free. Chapter 6, Story 3. The moon cannot be stolen. You can steal a man's coat, but not his moon. There was once a Zen master who lived in a quiet mountain hut. His home was small, one room, one bowl, one mat to sleep on. No locks on the door, no wealth to protect, no fear in his heart. He had no possessions that tied him down, only the robe he wore and the soft silence that filled his days. One night, as the wind whispered through the trees and the stars blinked awake in the ink-blue sky, a thief crept up the hill. He had heard rumours of a wise man living alone in the forest, and believed, surely, someone so admired must be hiding something of value. He entered the hut silently, ready to steal. But inside, the Zen master was already waiting. He didn't shout. He didn't run. He didn't call for help. Instead, he looked at the man with calm, compassionate eyes and said, "You have come a long way to visit me. You should not return empty-handed." And then, the master gently removed his only robe, the one thing he owned, and placed it in the thief's hands. "Here, take this," he said softly. "It is all I have." The thief stood frozen, unsure of what to do. He had expected resistance, fear, maybe even a struggle. But this quiet surrender, it undid something in him. Unable to speak, the thief turned and walked into the darkness, robe in hand, mind in turmoil. The Zen master stepped outside and looked up at the sky. The moon hung there bright, round, unbothered by the world's noise. He smiled. "Poor man," he whispered. "If only I could have given him the moon." That's the story. No drama, no revenge, no moral high ground, just stillness and the moon. You see, in Zen, the master was never truly robbed, because what he had, his peace, his presence, his freedom, was never held in anything that could be taken. He had detached from possession so fully that even being stripped of his robe did not disturb the vast, silent sky within him. And that, perhaps, is the greatest wealth of all. Think now of all the things you fear losing. Your name, your plans, your image, your comforts, your things. What if none of that was who you really are? What if beneath all of it, there is something that cannot be stolen, cannot be broken, cannot be touched? That is the moon within you. That is the presence that watches, without reacting, that remains whole even when the world seems to fall apart. As you breathe now slowly, deeply, imagine setting down all your attachments just for tonight. Let the identity slip away. Let the worries walk out the door. Let the expectations dissolve like steam in a cold room. You are not here to protect your image. You are not here to perform peace. You are here to remember it. To sit silently in your hut of stillness, unbothered by what comes and goes, and look up at the moon, still hanging, still whole, still yours. If everything was taken from you, and all that remained was your breath, your presence, your peace, wouldn't that be enough? The Master knew it would, and in that knowing, he became untouchable. So now, as your body rests, as your muscles soften, as your thoughts slow into a gentle hush, ask yourself, what cannot be stolen from me? And rest there, in that silence, in that sky, in that moonlight, forever untouched. Chapter 7. Reflection. What cannot be taken from you. Not everything you carry is truly yours, and not everything that is truly yours can be carried. There are things in this world that can be taken from you. Your possessions, your routines, your status, your image in the eyes of others, even your name, your voice, your memory. But there are things that cannot be touched, not by thieves, nor time, nor the winds of misfortune. These are the treasures of the inner life, and they are yours, always. What do you own that no one can steal? Your stillness, your awareness, your ability to return to the breath when the world shouts too loud, your capacity to let go instead of hold on. These are not taught in school. They are not written on your resume. They are not shared on a screen for others to applaud. And yet, they are worth more than anything that can be counted or stored. The Zen master, who gave away his robe, knew something we forget in the noise of daily life, that the things which can be taken were never truly you. The house, the bank account, the identity you wear, like a polished badge. All of it exists outside of who you are. And who you are is deeper, simpler, untouched. When was the last time you sat in silence and realized you had everything you needed? Not because your goals were met, not because your problems were solved, but because in that moment, nothing more was required. That is wealth. That is peace. That is what no one can steal from you. You see, the ego clings. It wraps its fingers around titles, belongings, routines. It says, if I lose this, I lose myself. But the soul smiles quietly, because it knows the truth. You were never the thing you lost. Let that truth settle now into your body. Let it move like a soft wind through your chest, like the tide washing away footprints in the sand. You don't have to hold so tightly. You don't have to protect the image you've created. You don't have to defend what is temporary. Everything you defend out of fear is already on its way out. And everything you surrender in trust becomes a doorway to something greater. Tonight, allow yourself to let go. Let go of being understood. Let go of being remembered. Let go of being right. Let go of the need to get it. You don't have to arrive anywhere tonight. You don't have to become anything more. You already are enough. Even if the world forgets your name, even if your plans fall through, even if everything you hold slips through your fingers, you will still have your breath. You will still have this moment. You will still have the sky within you. As you rest now, feel your body begin to float, weightless, safe, silent. You are not your past. You are not your belongings. You are not your fears. You are the quiet watcher beneath all of it. You are the moon, no one can steal. So breathe, soft and slow, and return to what has always been yours. The peace, the presence, the untouchable you. Chapter 8. Gentle affirmations. You are already enough. There is nothing more you need to become. Nothing more you must prove. Nothing left to chase tonight. You are already enough. You are already complete. So now, let the thoughts grow quieter, let the effort dissolve, let the striving soften into peace. Because the truth is, you were never meant to become perfect. You were meant to remember who you already are. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your chest rise and gently fall. Feel your presence. Not as a task, not as a goal, but as a quiet miracle. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too much or not enough. You are exactly as you need to be. Let these words wash over you now. No need to analyze. No need to resist. Just receive, just allow. Like light pouring through a window, like water filling an empty cup, like silence holding every sound. Let these affirmations become the breath of your inner stillness. Is mated. I am safe in this moment. I am allowed to rest. I do not have to solve everything tonight. I release the need to control. I welcome the unknown with open hands. I let go of what no longer serves me. I trust the silence to hold me. I am not my thoughts. I am the space beneath them. Even when I feel lost, I am never truly separate from peace. There is nothing I need to prove to be worthy of rest. Stillness is my nature. Letting go is my path. I do not have to be anything more. I am already enough. Is mated. Now breathe again. Let the breath be your anchor. Soft, slow, sacred. Feel it guide you down, past the surface of the day, past the stories of the mind, into the deep ocean of your being. No storms here, no demands, only gentle waves, and the quiet hum of truth beneath everything. You are already whole. If thoughts appear, bow to them, then let them go. If memories rise, watch them drift, like clouds across the sky of your awareness. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to change them. You don't need to judge them. You can simply rest. In this silence, you are not empty. You are vast. In this breath, you are not idle. You are alive. In this stillness, you are not lost. You are returning. Returning to the truth that was always waiting. You don't have to do anything to be loved. You don't have to fix anything to be at peace. You already are peace. You already are love. You already are enough. Now, let go even deeper. Sink into the bed that holds you like a quiet mountain. Let your hands grow heavy. Let your eyes grow warm. Let your mind drift like a boat unmoored, floating gently towards sleep. And as the next chapter approaches, you don't need to remember any of this, because your heart already knows it. Your breath already carries it. Your stillness already lives it. You are already home. Chapter 9. Story 4. The Farmer's Luck. Good news. Bad news. Who can say? That's how the story begins. And how, in some way, every day of life quietly speaks to us. Long ago, in a village nestled between green hills and rice fields, there lived a quiet farmer. He was not rich. He was not poor. He lived simply, content with the rhythm of the seasons, planting, tending, harvesting, and resting. He had only one horse, a strong and beautiful creature that helped him work the land. But one day, the horse ran away. The villagers came to the farmer and exclaimed, "What terrible luck!" The farmer, with a calm voice and gentle eyes, replied, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." Days later, the horse returned, but not alone. It had brought with it a wild mare, free and strong and untamed. Now, the farmer had two horses. The The villagers returned in amazement. "What wonderful luck," they said. The farmer smiled and answered, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." The farmer's son began training the wild mare, but during one ride, the horse reared in fear, and the son fell, breaking his leg badly. The villagers came once again, shaking their heads. "Oh, what terrible luck," they sighed. And once again, the farmer said quietly, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." Weeks passed. Then the kingdom went to war. Soldiers came to every village, collecting young men to fight. But when they saw the farmer's son, they left him behind his leg, too injured to serve. The villagers returned again, weeping for their own sons, and said to the farmer, "You are so lucky." The farmer, as always, replied, "Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see." That's the story. Nothing more. No dramatic ending. No final verdict. Just life, moving as it does. Moments rising and falling. Joy and sorrow trading masks. And now, as you lie here in the stillness of night, perhaps you too can begin to feel the wisdom hidden in those few quiet words. Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see. How many times in your life have you rushed to label something? This is good. This is bad. End. This is the end. This is everything. And yet, months later, years later, you saw it differently. You changed. The story shifted. What once felt like a curse became a blessing. What once felt like a triumph dissolved into a lesson. So, what if we stopped judging so quickly? What if we allowed life to unfold on its own time, without forcing it into a category? What if we just waited? In Buddhism, this is called equanimity, the ability to remain calm, neither clinging to joy nor crushed by sorrow. Not because you don't care, but because you trust something deeper than appearances. You trust that what is unfolding is bigger than your momentary understanding of it. This is what the farmer knew, and this is what you are remembering now. So, as you breathe, let this be your mantra. Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see. Say it softly as the breath comes in and as it goes out. Let it quiet your need to control. Let it soothe your desire to label. Let it open a space where peace can live. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped fighting the unknown. The farmer's gift was not his horse. It was his heart, calm, unmoved, rooted in the deep soil of surrender. Tonight, may your heart feel the same. You don't need to know what comes next. You don't need to name this moment. You only need to rest in it, because sometimes the greatest peace comes from simply whispering, "We'll see," and letting go. Chapter 10. Reflection. Beyond good and bad. What if you stopped asking whether things were good or bad, and just let them be? We are taught from the very beginning to divide the world. Good and bad. Success and failure. Fortunate and unfortunate. Blessing and curse. We carry invisible scales in our minds, constantly weighing each moment. Every experience must be labelled. Every feeling must be sorted. But the path of peace asks something much gentler, something quieter. It asks you to put down the scales, to stop measuring, to stop judging, to let life be what it is without your commentary. The story of the farmer didn't give us a tidy conclusion, because life doesn't offer tidy endings. It offers flow. It offers change. It offers mystery. And in that mystery, there is a deeper kind of peace. The kind that doesn't depend on things going your way. The kind that is still there when plans fall apart. The kind that does not chase joy or run from sorrow, but welcomes them both like passing guests. In Zen, there is a teaching. The Great Way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. What does that mean? It means that suffering often comes not from what happens, but from how tightly we hold to what we want to happen. When we cling to our version of how things should be, we create resistance. We tighten, we suffer. Aye, but when we soften, when we release our insistence that things be this way or that, then even sorrow can move through us without destruction. So now, as your body lies still, as your breath moves softly in and out, ask yourself, can I let go of labeling this moment? Can I stop asking whether I'm doing well enough, whether I'm far behind or finally ahead? Can I stop assigning value to every thought, every feeling, every memory? Can I just let them pass? Like leaves floating on a river that no longer needs my hand to guide it? Tonight, let yourself float. No oars, no direction, no judgment. Float in the quiet waters of acceptance. You are not failing if you feel tired. You are not doing life wrong if you feel uncertain. You are not broken because you carry sadness. You are human. You are here. And this moment is sacred, just as it is. Not because it is happy, not because it is easy, but because it is real, unfolding in its own rhythm, with or without your approval. You don't need to like everything, but you don't need to resist everything either. Somewhere in between lies peace, not on the far edge of good, but in the center where you stop dividing the world and simply watch it unfold. There is a wisdom in that center, a silence that opens like the petals of a night-blooming flower. And in that silence, you discover something beautiful. Nothing has to change for you to be at peace, only your relationship to it. So breathe now, and as you exhale, let go of the grip you've had on the day. Let go of the moment you wish had gone differently. Let go of the idea that you're supposed to feel something else. Let go of needing to get it right. Let go and rest in the space where right and wrong disappear, where good and bad dissolve, where there is only this: breath, stillness, presence, peace. You are no longer measuring, you are simply being, and that is enough. Chapter 11, Story 5, Carrying the Woman. Some things happen once, but we carry them forever, until we learn to let go. Two Zen monks were walking side by side through the wet paths of a countryside road. Their robes were soaked at the bottom, their sandals caked in soft earth, their pace slow, steady, and wordless, the way Zen monks move through the world. It had rained all morning, the fields were flooded, and small streams now ran across the path where roads used to be. Everything was muddy. Still, the monks walked on, feet touching the earth like whispers. As they reached a small village, they came upon a young woman standing at the edge of a wide, muddy puddle. She wore a long silk kimono, her hair pinned delicately, her sandals clearly not made for crossing through this mess. She looked worried, afraid to ruin her clothes, uncertain how to continue. Without a word, the older monk stepped forward, lifted her gently in his arms, and carried her across the puddle to dry ground. She bowed quickly, barely whispering thanks, and continued on her way. The monks said nothing and resumed their walk. But an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, the younger monk turned to the older one, clearly agitated. "How could you do that?" he blurted out. "We monks are not supposed to touch women, especially not like that." The older monk looked at him with quiet eyes and said simply, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" That is the story. Just one moment. A crossing, a carrying, and a release. Yet one of them let go, and the other held on, not to the woman, but to the idea, the judgment, the story. How often do we do the same? How many moments from your past are you still carrying? Something someone said, something someone did, something you wish you could go back and change. An action, a mistake, a moment of pain. It happened, and maybe it needed to happen. But why let it live inside your chest now, weighing down your breath, as if it just occurred? In Buddhism, this is the art of non-attachment. It does not mean apathy. It means unclenching the heart, letting life pass through you, without clinging to the parts that made you uncomfortable. letting people go, not because they didn't matter, but because the moment has passed. Letting yourself rest, even if your mind wants to hold a grudge, against someone else or against yourself. So now, as your breath slows, as your hands grow heavier, ask gently, what am I still carrying that no longer needs to be held? It may not be a person, it may be a memory, a regret, a self-judgment that lingers like smoke in a room, long after the fire has died out. You are not that moment. You are not the version of yourself from back then. You are not the echo of what went wrong. You are the stillness that remains. After the moment has passed, and in this stillness, you are safe to let go. Let go of the scene playing in your mind. Let go of the voice that keeps it alive. Let go of the resentment, the analysis, the should have known better. Breathe, and as you exhale, put it down. Just like the monk, not with drama, not with noise. Just gently, quietly, completely. You don't have to carry it any longer. There is a deep kind of freedom in forgiveness, especially forgiveness of yourself. So now, rest in that freedom. The moment has passed. The water is behind you. The woman is gone. And the path ahead is light, soft, and open. Let's walk it now with quiet hearts and empty hands. Chapter 12. Reflection. Letting go of the past. The past is not heavy because it happened. It's heavy because we keep picking it up. Some memories are sharp, others are soft. But even the soft ones, if held too tightly, can harden into walls. We remember what was said, what wasn't said, what we did, what we didn't do. Moments replay like silent films in the back of the mind. Sometimes loud, sometimes quiet, but always there. But here's the gentle truth. Memory is not the past. It is a thought in the present, disguised in old clothing. You are not living that moment again. You are remembering it, and remembering is a choice. Sometimes conscious, sometimes not. But now, here, in this soft hour of night, you are being given permission to choose differently, to unhook from the story, to soften the grip, to let the memory drift back into the stream it came from, without needing to hold it in your hands anymore. Breathe. Let the breath be your release. Inhale, awareness. Exhale, permission to let go. Let the body speak where the mind has been too loud. The tension in your chest, the heaviness in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw, these are all old moments trying to stay alive through you. But you are here to rest, not to hold, not to analyze, not to rewrite, not to fix, just to rest. In Buddhism, they speak of impermanence. Everything that arises will pass. Thoughts, feelings, pain, joy, even the things we swore would last forever. They come, they go. Like waves returning to sea foam, suffering comes not from the wave, but from trying to keep it frozen in place. So what if tonight you allowed it all to be water again? The memory, the mistake, the wish, the apology you never gave or never received. Let it be water, and let water do what it has always done. Flow, change, disappear into the horizon. You are not betraying your past by letting go. You are honouring it by giving it rest. Let the story soften, let the edges blur, let time wrap it in light, and let the weight fall from your body, like a robe you no longer need to wear. Now, gently ask yourself, what part of my past am I still carrying? It might not come as words. It might come as a sensation, a heaviness in the stomach, a flicker behind the eyes, a sigh you didn't realize you needed. Let it speak. Then let it go. No judgment, no explanation. Just release. Imagine placing the memory on a paper lantern and setting it afloat on a quiet lake. Watch it drift. No wind, no resistance, just still water and soft moonlight. It floats until it becomes a dot on the horizon, and then it disappears, and you are left with the quiet, not empty, but full of peace. There is nothing wrong with the past, but it does not belong in your hands forever. Tonight, the invitation is simple. Let go and sleep. The night does not ask you to solve anything, only to surrender, only to soften, only to breathe. So breathe now, in, slowly, out, even slower. Let go of the moment, let go of the memory, let go of the mind, and return to the quiet that was waiting for you all along. Chapter 13, Story 6, Obedient Zen Master. Sometimes the wisest ones appear foolish. Sometimes the most obedient ones are free. There was once a Zen master, known not for his teachings, nor for the number of students he gathered, nor for the poetry he wrote, but for one thing alone, his perfect obedience. Whatever the monastery asked, he did, without protest, without hesitation, without ego. If they asked him to sweep the leaves, he swept them, slowly and silently, with the reverence of a man tending sacred ground. If they asked him to cook, he stirred the pot with care, as if every grain of rice was worthy of a bow. If they asked him to remain silent for days, he said nothing, and in that silence, the air around him seemed to speak louder than words. Then, one day, something changed. The master was told to begin teaching, to become a formal instructor, with students, robes, scrolls, and the authority to speak in the name of the temple. He nodded and began. But his teachings were strange. He gave no lectures. He asked no riddles. He offered no parables. Instead, he did something very unexpected. He returned to the garden and resumed sweeping leaves. The young monks grew frustrated. "Why doesn't he teach?" they whispered. "Why does he sweep when he's meant to guide? Why does he disobey, now of all times?" Word reached the head of the temple, and the old abbot came to visit the Zen master. He watched the master in the garden, bare hands slowly gathering dry leaves into a quiet pile. And then he smiled. "Ah," the abbot whispered, "so even now you are obeying." You see, the master understood something others did not. That true obedience is not blind. It is aware, flexible, responsive, and rooted in wisdom, not fear. He did not follow rules for the sake of rules. He followed the moment. He listened not just with ears, but with presence. And when the moment asked him to teach, he taught not with words, but with his broom. That was his lesson, to live simply, to return to the ground, to serve not the appearance of importance, but the truth of the now. And so he swept, and in doing so, he taught more than scrolls ever could. Now, let us turn inward. How often do we follow the rules in our head? Rules given to us by fear, by others, by a younger version of ourselves? Rules like, I must be productive to have value. To have value. I must always be strong. I must never rest. I must always have a plan. And yet, who gave us those rules? And more importantly, do they still serve us? Sometimes, wisdom looks like disobedience. But really, it's listening more deeply than before. It's hearing the whisper beneath the noise. The whisper that says, rest, let go, be here. So tonight, as you lie in stillness, release the need to follow old rules. You don't need to make sense of the day. You don't need to prepare for tomorrow. You don't need to keep performing obedience for voices that no longer live in your present life. You can simply sweep the leaves, softly, silently, lovingly. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to explain your piece to anyone. Sometimes, the deepest teaching is returning to the ordinary and discovering the sacred inside it. So let your breath be the broom, let your thoughts be leaves, and gently, patiently, clear the mind without effort, not to get anywhere, not to prove anything, but because peace lives in that rhythm, in that breath, in that now, and that is the teaching. Simple, wordless, true. Chapter 14. Reflection. Listening beneath the rules. You have been following rules you never agreed to. Rules written in the ink of fear, etched in the silence of childhood, imprinted by culture, comparison, and survival. Rules like, don't rest until you've earned it. Don't feel too deeply. Don't be too slow. Don't fail. Don't ask questions. Just do as you're told. And yet, these rules were never universal truths. They were just thoughts passed down, picked up, repeated, until one day you started mistaking them for your voice. But what if the real voice, the one buried beneath the noise, was saying something softer? What if it wasn't pushing you to be more, but inviting you to be still? What if it wasn't demanding you get it right, but whispering, you're already enough? In Zen, the master sweeps leaves while others chase wisdom. He teaches by doing the next ordinary thing with full presence. That's because, in true awareness, you no longer need rules to tell you what is right. You feel what's right. You sense the moment. You move with life, not against it. This is the path of quiet intuition, not rebellion, not obedience. Listening, tonight, listen, not to the thoughts that tell you what you should be doing, but to the breath, to the stillness, to the soft voice beneath the shoulds, the one that says, you can rest now. You don't need to try so hard. You're allowed to be soft. You don't need permission to feel peace. Can you remember the first time you were told not to feel something, not to cry, not to be too quiet, not to be too loud, not to feel what you felt? And so you began building rules inside yourself, fences, labels, guidelines on how to be acceptable. But you were never meant to live inside a cage of approval. You were meant to listen to the wind inside your own chest, the rhythm of your own breath, the wisdom that rises from stillness, not fear. There is a deeper guidance inside you, but it speaks in silence, in presence, in breath, not in rules, not in guilt, not in the voice of old authority figures still echoing in your mind. So now, as your body lies still, feel where the rules are living, maybe in your neck, your stomach, your hands. Tension, holding on to ideas you didn't choose. Begin to release. Let the breath soften them. Let the night quiet them. Let this moment remind you. You do not have to earn your way into peace. You only need to stop resisting it. Feel your body settle into its natural rhythm, not one assigned by time or task, but one born of stillness itself. This rhythm is older than your thoughts, older than your worries. It is the wisdom of trees, the movement of the tide, the quiet of moonlight falling on still water. You don't need a rule book to rest. You don't need to do it perfectly. You don't even need to understand it all. You only need to listen to the space between thoughts, to the silence behind your name, to the peace that lives just beneath the noise. So as you breathe now, release one more rule, and then another, until there is nothing left but the soft hum of being, effortless, present, free, and in that space, you'll find your true teacher. Not above you, not outside you, but within you, always listening, always still, always waiting for you to remember. You were never meant to follow the noise. You were meant to follow the breath. Chapter 15. Story 7. The master sleeps while the temple burns. When the world burns, the awakened one may still be asleep. There was once a Zen temple high in the mountains, surrounded by silent pine trees, rivers that ran like long silver ribbons, and clouds that often brushed the edge of its rooftops. In that temple lived a master, known not for his words, nor for his rituals, but for his stillness. He was quiet even when praised, still even when insulted, unmoved even when the seasons changed. No one ever saw him hurry. He walked like the wind, slow and invisible. He sat like a rock beneath the surface of the ocean. He slept like the earth, deep, grounded, peaceful. One night, the monks awoke to a terrible sound. Crackling, snapping, the smell of smoke curling through the air. The temple was on fire. A lantern had fallen. A curtain caught the flame. And now, the ancient wood was glowing red, the sky above flashing orange. Panic swept the halls. Monks ran to grab water. Scrolls, sacred texts, teacups passed down from generations. Chaos unfolded like a wave. But one monk, a young one, uncertain and wide-eyed, ran to the master's quarters. He burst through the sliding door, smoke rising behind him, heart pounding in his chest. "Master, the temple is burning. We must go. Hurry." And what he saw was the master, asleep, not pretending, not meditating, just sleeping, breath steady, body soft, face like still water under moonlight. The monk froze. He didn't wake the master. He simply stood there, watching a human being, completely untouched by the storm. And in that moment, something shifted in him. Not everything needed saving. Not everything needed urgency. Not everything needed fear. That's the story. No heroic escape. No miracle. Just a moment that burned brighter than the fire outside. Now, you may ask, was the master foolish? Was he surrendering to fate? Or was he showing us something? Something we rarely see, because we're too busy running from the things we think we must fix. In Zen, this story is not about apathy. It's about trust. The kind of trust that cannot be taught with words, only lived in silence. The kind of trust that says, if this is the moment for stillness, then I will be still. If this is the moment to rest, then I will sleep. Even if the world burns around me, that doesn't mean we do nothing. It means we stop reacting blindly. We stop letting fear control the story. We stop believing that our panic will save the day. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not rush, not solve, not struggle, but breathe, rest, be. The temple may burn, things may fall apart, but peace is not in the temple. It's in the one who can sleep while it burns. So now, as you lie in the dark, with your own thoughts flickering like little fires, ask yourself, what am I trying to save? What am I running from? And can I let it burn just for now? While I rest, this doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in to this moment, this breath, this sacred stillness that is always available beneath the noise. Let the world fall away. Let the temple be smoke. Let the walls collapse. You are not the building. You are the space inside it, the silence behind it, the presence that remains when all else is gone. So sleep now, with trust, with calm, with the quiet power of the Master, who knows that even if everything burns, peace cannot be touched. Not by fire, not by fear, not by anything, only by forgetting it. And you are remembering now. Chapter 16. Reflection. Surrendering control. Control is a tight fist. Peace is an open palm. All your life, you've been taught to hold on, to hold your schedule, to hold your image, to hold your emotions tightly in your chest, like fragile glass, to grip every piece of the world as if it might break without you. But what if you didn't have to hold everything anymore? What if nothing needed to be controlled for peace to appear? Surrender is not weakness. It is strength with softness. It is power without panic. It is the breath you don't force, the moment you don't manage, the path you don't plan but trust with quiet steps. It's the Master asleep while the temple burns, not because he doesn't care, but because he understands. Some fires are not meant to be put out. Some moments are not meant to be controlled. Think of a river. It does not rush to rearrange the stones in its way. It does not worry about the shape of the mountain ahead. It flows, over, under, around, through, not with fear, but with deep, quiet intelligence. That is surrender. Now ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Is it a thought, a memory, a person, a version of yourself? Feel it in your body. The gripping, the tightening, the effort to get it right. And then breathe, not to fix it, just to feel it, to allow the tension to surface and soften in the light of awareness. You don't need to hold the moment anymore. Let the moment hold you. Let the bed hold you. Let the breath guide you. Let the night unfold without your instruction. Let go of being in charge of the future. Let go of being the architect of every outcome. Let go of the need to figure everything out before you sleep. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present. And presence begins the moment you stop trying to rewrite the moment. In Buddhism, surrender is not defeat. It is returning to your true nature, the one that flows, that listens, that moves with life, not against it. The one that knows. You are not the sky's designer. You are the one who watches the clouds drift across it. And in that watching, there is peace. So now, rest your hands. Let the muscles in your shoulders melt. Let your jaw loosen. Let your thoughts fall away like petals from an open flower. You do not need to hold the petals in place. They fall, they rise, they return. It is not your job to arrange them. It is your joy to witness them. The part of you that always needs a plan, let it nap for now. The part of you that needs control to feel safe, let it breathe without armor. The part of you that's been holding the world on its back, let it feel the sweetness of putting it down. Just for tonight, just for this breath, you are safe to surrender. You are allowed to let go. You are not failing by releasing control. You are returning, to what was never lost. And here, in this stillness, you are no longer the one holding the moment. You are the moment itself, whole, untouched, complete. Let go and be held by peace that asks nothing in return. Chapter 17. Gentle Affirmations. The wisdom within you. There is a quiet place inside you that already knows the way. You don't have to search far. You don't have to become someone else. You don't have to ask for permission to feel peace. Because within you, beneath the thoughts, beneath the fear, beneath the noise, is a still, clear space that was never confused to begin with. It remembers what your mind forgets. It knows how to breathe without instruction, how to rest without guilt, how to let go without fear. Tonight, we return to that place, not by striving, but by softening, not by doing, but by remembering. So now, as your body lies still, as your breath moves gently like ripples across a lake, let these words float into your awareness, like fireflies in the night. You don't have to grasp them, just receive them, just rest in them. Let each one be a doorway back to your center. Is mated. I trust the wisdom that lives within me. I am safe to rest. I release the need to control what comes next. I am not behind. I am not too late. I am allowed to be still. My breath is a teacher. My silence is a guide. I am not defined by my past. I am not a problem to be solved. I am already whole. I welcome peace like a friend returning home. Everything I need is already within me. I trust the timing of my life. I trust the softness of this moment. I trust that rest is enough. Is mated. Now breathe again. Let the affirmations sink deeper, like rain soaking into the roots beneath the surface. No need to remember the words. They've already left an imprint. Let that imprint carry you further down, into rest, into stillness, into trust. You've spent so much of your life reaching outward, trying to find answers in books, in others, in achievements, in movement, but the greatest truths are not out there. They are here, within you, waiting, quiet, unrushed, untouched by opinion or outcome. The mind searches. The soul waits, and tonight you are returning, not to a new belief, but to a very old knowing, a knowing you were born with, the knowing that says, you do not need to be fixed, you need to be seen by yourself, in stillness. So rest now, let the affirmations echo like ripples long after the stone has sunk. Feel your breath slow, your body grow heavier, your thoughts loosen their grip on you. You are safe, you are whole, you are wise, and the more you let go, the more you remember, not with the mind, but with the heart, with the body, with the spirit that always knew its way home. Chapter 18. Story 8. Opening the inner sky. Peace does not come from controlling your thoughts. It comes from realizing you are not your thoughts. There once was a student who had traveled a long way to study with a Zen master who was known not for his words, but for his stillness. The student was clever, well-read, quick to learn, and quick to speak. But his mind never stopped moving. He spoke quickly. He asked too many questions at once. He interrupted his own silence with thought after thought, like stones being skipped across a perfectly still pond. And every time he sat to meditate, his mind became louder, more restless, more unbearable. After many days, he came to the master with frustration in his voice. "Master," he said, "I've done everything right. I sit, I breathe, I repeat the mantras, but my mind will not stop. The thoughts are like clouds, endless and heavy. What am I doing wrong?" The master looked at him kindly, then led him outside. They walked together to a wide open hill. The air was cool. The sky stretched endlessly in all directions. Soft blue, slow clouds, golden light warming the ground. The master pointed upward. "Do you see the sky?" The student nodded. "Do the clouds disturb it?" The student paused. "No, the clouds pass, but the sky remains." The master said nothing more. They stood in silence. The student watching the sky, and something shifted inside him. That was the teaching. Not a lesson in words, but a moment of seeing. The thoughts were never the problem. The sky had never been touched. You see, we often try to push the thoughts away. We fight them. We judge them. We say, "I should be calmer than this. I should be clearer by now. I should be better at letting go." But the thoughts are not a mistake. They are simply movement, weather. The mistake is forgetting that you are the sky. So now, as you lie here, feeling the softness of your pillow, the warmth of your body, and the gentle rhythm of your breath, look inward and find the sky. Not a sky above you, but a sky within you. A vast space where thoughts can come and go, without needing to be chased, controlled, or judged. Let each thought rise and pass. Let each memory appear, then drift. No effort, no clinging, no fear, just space. Endless, open, welcoming space. In Buddhism, the mind-like sky is a path to liberation, because when we identify with the thoughts, we suffer. When we cling to the clouds, we lose the sky. But when we remember that we are the awareness in which thoughts appear and disappear, we become free. You do not need a quiet mind to find peace. You only need to remember you are not the noise. You are the space around it. You are the silence between the sounds. You are the breath between the thoughts. You are the sky behind every cloud. So now, rest in that sky. No edges, no limits, no weight, only breath, only stillness, only the vast, quiet space of you. Let your thoughts pass like birds migrating through the heavens. Let them come, let them go. No story, no resistance, just clouds and sky. And when the morning comes, you will still be the sky, even if the clouds return, even if the winds rise, because now you know nothing can stain the sky, nothing can disturb the stillness that holds it all. And that stillness lives in you, always. Chapter 19. Reflection. Thoughts are just clouds. Not every thought is yours to carry. Some are just passing through. You've been taught to believe that your thoughts define you, that every idea, worry, or image that appears in your mind must mean something, must be true, must be important. But thoughts are not truth. They are weather, just like clouds, floating across a wide blue sky. Some heavy, some light, some grey, some glowing. And you are not the weather. You are the sky that holds it. Some thoughts are fast, flashing through like summer lightning. Some stay longer, looming above like a low, rumbling storm. But no matter how long they linger, none of them are permanent. They rise, they shift, they pass, and when they go, you are still here. Untouched, unafraid, unchanged. So, now, as your body lies heavy and still, as your breath moves like a soft tide, begin to watch your thoughts like clouds. No chasing, no judging, no naming, just witnessing. A thought arises. Let it. A memory floats by. Let it. You are not the thought. You are the space in which it appears. And the space in which it dissolves. There is a Zen teaching. Let thoughts come and go. Just don't serve them tea. Meaning, let them visit, but don't entertain them. Don't build them a house. Don't sit down and feed them your energy. Let them arrive. Let them leave. Just like clouds. Just like dreams. In your daily life, the mind tries to keep up with everything. It worries. It plans. It replays. It narrates. And that's okay. That's what minds do. But you are not your mind. You are not your narration. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm beneath the chatter, the silence behind the script. So now, let go of needing your thoughts to be different. You don't need to empty your mind. You only need to stop believing everything it says. You don't need to push the clouds away. You only need to stop reaching up to grab them. Let them pass. Let them fade. Let them be. And keep resting in the sky. Feel it now. The open, quiet field inside your chest. The breath that keeps arriving without asking for permission. The space behind your eyes where thoughts dissolve into stillness. This is your home. Not the thoughts, but the space between them. Let the mind do what it does, and let you, the real you, rest behind it all. Still, spacious, clear. You may still have thoughts tonight. That's okay. But now, you know how to watch them, like clouds, like birds, like waves that rise and fall. You are not here to hold them. You are here to witness them pass. And with each one that passes, you drift deeper into peace, into stillness, into the vast sky of who you truly are. Chapter 20. Story 9. The Laughing Buddha. What if enlightenment was laughter? What if peace was a smile that needed no reason? Long ago, there lived a monk named Hotei. He was unlike any other monk. He did not live in a temple. He did not teach with sutras or sermons. He did not wear the expression of someone trying to appear wise. He simply walked from village to village, barefoot, belly round, carrying a cloth sack over his shoulder, and laughing, always laughing. The villagers called him the Laughing Buddha, because wherever he went, he brought joy. He played with children. He gave away gifts from his sack. Simple things. A sweet, a toy, a dried fruit, a joke. He spoke to farmers and fishermen, merchants and mothers, not like a preacher, but like an old friend who had nothing to prove. People would ask him, "Are you a master?" And he would laugh. "Are you enlightened?" He would laugh louder. No one knew where he slept. No one knew where he came from. But when he arrived in town, people felt lighter, like the clouds had passed, like the sky had opened. One day, a serious Zen student followed Hotei through 3 villages. He watched the monk laugh. share, nap under a tree, and walk on. Finally, the student approached him. "Tell me," he said, "what is Zen?" Hotei dropped his sack, smiled, and laughed. Then he picked it up again and walked away. That was the answer. Not in words, but in being. Hotei taught the world something most seekers forget. That awakening isn't always solemn. That joy isn't a distraction, it's the destination. That when you stop needing everything to make sense, you begin to laugh. Because life, in its chaos and simplicity, in its falling and rising, in its silence and storm, is funny, it's beautiful, it's light. Sometimes the greatest teachers are the ones who don't try to teach. They simply live. They smile, they give, and in their presence, something soft awakens in you. A memory, a truth, a breath that says, I don't need to carry it all so seriously. So now, in this quiet hour of the night, as your body rests beneath the covers and your thoughts move like soft clouds across a dark sky, let yourself smile. Not because there's a reason, but because there doesn't have to be. There is a peace that comes not from solving life, but from enjoying it. A joy that does not erase sorrow, but holds it gently, like Hotei held his sack of simple treasures. What if you woke tomorrow, carrying less? Not because the problems disappeared, but because your heart remembered that it could still laugh, still give, still walk barefoot on the earth, with nothing but breath and presence. This is Zen too, not just stillness, but lightness, not just silence, but a soft smile in the silence, not just wisdom, but joy without explanation. So breathe now, feel your shoulders relax, let the seriousness dissolve like morning mist. Let yourself be simple, let yourself be enough, let yourself feel light, like Hotei, like a laugh, like a moment that doesn't need anything added to be perfect. And if a smile finds your face, even now, in the dark, with eyes closing, let it be. Let it mean nothing. Let it mean everything. Because sometimes, the most enlightened thing you can do is to rest and smile and not worry at all. Chapter 21. Reflection. Lightness is wisdom. True wisdom isn't heavy. It's the feeling of something finally released. It's the deep breath you didn't know you were holding. The smile that appears when nothing is fixed, but everything feels okay. We often mistake wisdom for complexity. We think it must come with robes, books, rituals, serious faces. But in Zen, wisdom often comes wrapped in silence, in simplicity, in a single laugh that says more than 1,000 pages ever could. Lightness is not carelessness. It's the absence of unnecessary weight. It's what remains when we stop carrying what doesn't belong to us. Other people's expectations, old identities, heavy thoughts that circle but never land. We carry too much, and the world has convinced us that if we let go, we'll fall apart. But in truth, letting go is how we come back together. Think now of what you've been carrying today, this week, this year, maybe for many years. Not just tasks, but emotions, roles, fears, unfinished stories in the mind. And now ask gently, do I need to hold this tonight? If the answer is no, then let it float. Let it drift out of your hands, like a paper lantern into the sky. In Zen, there is a beauty in emptiness, not the hollow kind, but the kind that's full of space, of freedom, of fresh air. Lightness doesn't mean nothing matters. It means you trust life enough to stop clinging to every thought, every outcome, every rule. You breathe, you smile, you flow, like wind, over a quiet field. Like Hotei walking barefoot with nothing but a sack of joy. So now, as your body melts into rest, feel the weight leaving. Drop the tension in your shoulders. Drop the pressure in your forehead. Drop the buzzing thoughts that insist you must figure it all out before sleep. You don't need to. You're allowed to rest without having answers. You're allowed to breathe without defending yourself to your own mind. You're allowed to float. Imagine now your mind like a feather, carried by a soft breeze. No resistance, no urgency, no destination. Just presence. Just now, just this. There is a wisdom in that kind of softness. The wisdom of laughing monks, of falling petals, of silent stars that shine without speaking a word. You've been taught that enlightenment is high above, but maybe it's below, beneath the tension, beneath the effort, beneath the mask of seriousness. Maybe wisdom is the space you enter, when you finally feel light enough to float. So breathe in, and as you exhale, release the heaviness that was never yours. Release the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to know, the pressure to control. Let them all go, and in their place, feel the quiet smile of peace returning. Tonight, the most spiritual thing you can do might be the simplest. Sleep softly, lightly, without holding anything at all, and let that be enough. Chapter 22, Story 10, The Bell and the Mountain. There is a sound that can only be heard when the world and the self is silent. There was once a young monk who lived in a quiet mountain monastery, surrounded by mists that never cleared entirely, and forests that hummed with wind instead of words. He had been told stories as a child, stories of an ancient bell hidden deep in the heart of the mountains, a sacred bell, not made by hands, not built by monks, but born of the mountain itself. It was said that this bell rang only once, for those who had reached true stillness. No one had ever heard it with their ears, but those who had felt it said it was like the sound of truth, echoing from within the bones of the earth. The monk became obsessed. He meditated harder, breathed deeper, fasted longer, climbed steeper trails. He sat in silence for days, weeks, months, trying to arrive, trying to become still enough to hear the bell. But the more he tried, the more noise he created. He became frustrated. His silence grew sharp, his discipline heavy, his breath tense, and his mind no quieter than before. One day, tired and empty, he wandered up the highest ridge he could find. No goals, no plan. He was simply too tired to try anymore. He sat beneath a cedar tree and let himself breathe. Not deeply, not with focus, just naturally, effortlessly, and for the first time in years, he didn't chase stillness. He allowed it. He stopped seeking and began simply being. The breeze moved around him. The clouds shifted. A bird called from a nearby branch, and everything felt untouched, perfect, quiet. He didn't notice when his thoughts faded, or when his breath became the forest itself. But in that moment, as he vanished into presence, he felt it, not with his ears, but with something deeper, a vibration in the chest, a warmth in the spine, a sound that wasn't sound, like a bell echoing through the soul instead of the air. He didn't try to name it, he didn't reach for it, he just received it. That was the bell, not a sound to chase, but a truth to sink into, a ringing that only appears when the mind disappears. The monk never spoke of it. He never claimed to have heard it. He returned to the monastery and went on with his simple life. But the others noticed. He moved differently now, softer, lighter, quieter, but fuller, as if every step he took echoed with a sound only the heart could hear. This is the nature of awakening. It does not arrive with lightning. It arrives in stillness. Too quiet for celebration. It comes when there's nothing left to hold, nothing left to prove, nothing left to become, only presence, only peace, only the soundless bell within the mountain of your being. So, now, as you lie here, wrapped in blankets like soft clouds, with your breath moving gently in and out like mist. Ask nothing, seek nothing, just rest. And listen, not with the ears, but with the soul. There may be a bell in the heart of your stillness, not one you hear, but one you feel. Not because you reached some peak, not because you were perfect, but because you stopped climbing. And finally, you arrived, right where you were all along. Chapter 23, Reflection. The sound of nothingness. There is a sound that makes no sound, and yet you feel it, not in your ears, not in your thoughts, but in the quiet space inside your chest. When the noise of the world has fallen away, it doesn't arrive. It's already here, waiting beneath the surface of every moment you tried to control, every thought you tried to chase, every silence you once tried to fill. This sound cannot be recorded. It cannot be replayed. It has no pitch, no vibration. It is the sound beneath sound, the pure stillness that carries all things. And tonight, you are resting in it. The monks call it emptiness, but that's not quite right. It's not a lack. It's not a void. It's a fullness so complete, it needs nothing to be whole. It's the sound the sky makes when it holds no clouds. The sound the forest makes when the wind pauses. The sound your soul makes when it finally stops searching. Nothingness isn't empty. It's free. Free of tension, free of effort, free of the mind's endless wanting. And in that freedom, there is peace deeper than sleep. A peace that isn't earned. A peace that isn't understood. A peace that simply is. So now, as you lie here, body heavy, mind quiet, breath slow, listen, not with your ears, but with your presence. Can you feel it? That still hum beneath the rhythm of your thoughts? That quiet pulse beneath the music of your mind? That is the sound of nothingness, the sound of being, the sound of what remains when all else has been released. Let go now, even deeper. Let go of needing this to feel a certain way. Let go of wondering if you're doing it right. Let go of thinking altogether. Sink, drift, float, as if your body has melted into the bed, as if your breath has become the room, as if your awareness has become the sky itself. Because in this moment, you are not a person trying to sleep. You are presence itself, resting in the arms of silence. There is no goal here. There is no next step. There is no lesson to learn. Only stillness. Only peace. Only the sound that holds all other sounds. The one you've been searching for since before you had words. And now you are home in it. Let that nothingness wrap around you. Let it be your blanket, your quiet, your letting go. You don't need to remember this moment. You don't need to name it. You are safe to disappear into it, to become still, to become quiet, to become nothing at all. And in that sacred nothingness, everything rests, even you, especially you. Chapter 24, Final Affirmations. The peace beneath all things. There is a peace so deep it does not move. It does not speak. It simply holds you, no matter what thoughts pass by. No matter what feelings rise or fall, there is something beneath it all that stays still, gentle, and whole. And that is where you are now, resting in the quiet beneath all things. You are no longer trying to be still. You are stillness. You are no longer trying to let go. You have let go. You are no longer seeking peace. You are inside it. Now, let the breath move in and out like the tide. Let the weight of the day dissolve like dust in moonlight. Let these final words move through you, not as instructions, but as remembering. Is there, is mated. I am not my thoughts. I am the space beneath them. I am not my past. I am the peace that has always survived it. I am not what I carry. I am what remains when I let go. I trust the stillness to hold me. I trust the silence to guide me. I release the need to understand. I allow myself to rest. I no longer seek permission to be at peace. I simply am. I surrender control and return to presence. Even when there is noise, I remember the silence inside me. I have nothing to prove, nothing to fix, nothing to fear. I welcome joy without needing a reason. I let go of stories. I fall into being. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing missing. This breath is enough. This moment is whole. I am whole. Is there. Is mated. Let those words echo quietly, not as thoughts, but as feeling. Not as noise, but as music too gentle to hear with ears. Let them settle like snow on your skin. Soft, silent, sacred. You don't need to hold on to them. They're already part of you. They always were. Feel how far you've come, from tension into stillness, from grasping into grace, from thought into silence. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to become. You are complete. You are calm. You are safe. And even if the world turns, even if thoughts return tomorrow, you will still know the truth, that beneath it all, beneath the noise, the striving, the roles, there is a peace so still. It never left you. It is the peace beneath all things, the stillness beneath all stories, the bell beneath the mountain, the sky behind the clouds, the smile behind the monk's laugh. It lives inside you, and tonight you've returned to it. So rest now, as long as you need, as deep as you desire. Float, sink, drift, and if thoughts try to follow, let them. They'll tire, they'll fade, but you'll remain as the stillness beneath it all. Chapter 25. Closing blessing. The master sleeps. The journey is complete, not because you've reached the end, but because you've remembered there was nowhere to go. There was never anything missing, never anything broken, never anything to chase. Just this breath, this silence, this moment soft and whole and free. Tonight you became the sky, the stillness behind sound, the watcher of clouds, the mountain beneath the bell. You became the one who no longer needs to become. And now there is only sleep, but not the kind of sleep that escapes the world, not the kind that collapses from exhaustion. This is sacred sleep, the sleep of letting go, the sleep of the monk who no longer needs to sit upright, who no longer needs to try, the sleep of the master, still, effortless, cradled by the arms of emptiness and the sound of nothingness. So now, lie back fully, let your hands release the last bit of weight. Let your chest rise one more time, and then fall like a feather. Let your name fade. Let your story blur. Let your mind become like a paper lantern, drifting gently across a dark lake, with no destination. You are not sinking. You are not rising. You are simply floating. Let the quiet come all the way in now, past the edges of thought, past the outlines of the day, past memory and desire. Let the world fade. Let the room fade. Let even the words fade. There is nothing left to hold. No effort. No expectation. No identity. Only peace. The master sleeps, and you are the master now. Not because you have mastered anything, but because you've released everything. So here is the final blessing, whispered softly to the one who no longer needs to listen. Is there. Is mated. May your breath carry you gently across the threshold. May your sleep be deep and dreamless. May your spirit rest in the arms of stillness. May your heart remember its freedom. May your silence be your sanctuary. May nothing disturb your peace. May you wake lighter than you have ever felt. And may you never forget that stillness is your true home. Is there. Is mated. There is nothing more to say. Nothing more to hear. You have arrived in the place that has no name, where nothing is missing and everything is whole. The bell has stopped ringing, the clouds have drifted on. The master sleeps, and now, so do you. Good night. If you're still awake, thank you for joining me on this sacred journey. If you've already drifted off, may your sleep be deep, healing, and filled with peace. And if this video helped you feel calmer, helped you let go, helped you find even a moment of stillness tonight, please take a second to like, share, and comment below. Tell me where you're listening from, what time it is for you, or simply type, "I found my stillness." Your support truly helps this channel grow, so more people around the world can find moments of calm just like this one. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more peaceful sleep journeys, Zen teachings, and meditative stories crafted with care just for you. We have so many beautiful videos coming soon, and I'm truly excited for the next one. Until then, rest deeply, smile softly, and remember, you are the stillness beneath all things. Good night, and I'll see you again soon.